What's going on, YouTube? My name is FG3000. I'm back in the place to be, and welcome back for the last and final time to Aion Legions of War. If you have not heard the news, this game is officially shutting down on June the 19th. So let's go ahead and take one last look at the game that was Aion Legions of War. Now, I have to apologize. This game is very hard to get a hold of. It's already been removed from the Play Store. It's very emulator unfriendly, so I have to get the game working on my cell phone. How dare I play a cell phone game on my phone? But here we are. So let's go ahead and take it from the top, starting off with the heroes that were on display. And as you guys can see here, graphically, this game is quite the looker. Even as this game shuts down here in 2020, it still looks better than games that are released today. So shout out to them. The game was built on the Unreal Engine, and it definitely shows. There's a nice variety of different types of character types and archetypes here as well. But I gotta say, and you guys let me know if you disagree or agree with this, but when I look at these characters, they just feel very blank, like they're blank slates to me. Like I don't get a feel of a connection with these characters or personality with these characters. They're just, well, she's all right, but all of these characters just look devoid of any, I just don't feel any of these characters. And I've said this before when it comes to Unreal Engine games, just something about the character designs that come out of the Unreal Engine, they just seem so blank to me. Like this character, I absolutely concede that she looked very good in this graphic engine, but other than that, I just like she's whatever, right? And once again, that could just be me. I'm very sensitive when it comes to my heroes that I collect, but to me, I just don't really feel a connection to any of these characters, at least from an artistic standpoint. So graphically, fantastic. Maybe artistically and aesthetically, I'm just not really feeling it. Some of these characters are pretty cool. Some like the non-humans are pretty cool, but there you go. You guys let me know how you feel about that. Also in this game, it's gonna be one of those games where you have the same exact character across different element types. And I know a lot of people were not feeling that and still aren't feeling that type of concept as well. So do keep that in mind as we kind of go through and kind of understand what happened to this game over the years. So what are you doing with that stick, buddy? Let me get out of here. So let's go ahead and jump into combat as we talk a little bit more about what was Aion Legions of War. So we'll go ahead and jump into a battle here. So when Aion came out, right, I believe that there was a Venn diagram of potential players for this game, right? So take this visual with me, all right? So you got this Venn diagram. You have people on the far left that have heard of Aion. They played the PC MMO, right? You got those on the left. On the far right, you have people that have never even heard of Aion, and then you have a bunch of people in the middle that may or may not have heard of it, and they're kind of open to it and whatever, right? In the middle. So the people on the far left, right? Those people came to the game expecting something that reminded them of the PC MMO. They have the nostalgia from the PC MMO. They came to this game and were immediately disappointed. Like when this game first came out, there were a slew of one-star reviews of people that knew about Aion, loved Aion, played Aion for years, and were like, this is not an MMO, this has nothing to do with Aion, this is trash, this is a hero collector, it's a gacha, it's a cash grab. So right off the bat, this game lost that audience 100%. Like the people that were really big Aion fans just really were like, this game is not what I was looking for. So they were gone, right? Then you have the people on the far right. And this is a phenomenon that I still don't quite understand. I'm trying to understand it more and more every day. But you have the people on the far right that have never heard of the IP Aion, but as soon as they heard that it was an existing IP, they were out too. And I still don't understand this. Like there are, and like I said, this is not a bad thing if you feel this way. I'm trying to relate with you. But there are people that are like, all right, there's a new Dragon Ball game out. There are people that are like, well, I don't watch Dragon Ball the anime, so I'm not gonna play the game because I'm not gonna understand it. And I understand it, but I still don't, because I feel like, well, you can always jump in at any time. Just because you haven't heard of an IP doesn't mean you can't hear of it today. We all started not knowing about an IP that we love today. So for whatever reason, those people were out too. They never heard of Aion, they didn't play the PC MMO, they felt like the game wasn't for them. So they were gone. So you already lost the diehard Aion fans that were just craving something that reminded them of the PC MMO that they love. Those people were gone. You already lose the people that aren't really into existing IPs. They were gone. So then you were left with the people in the middle. So what was for those people, the people that were willing to give this game a chance, may or may not have heard of the IP before, what was left for them? Really good graphics? Like that's really about it. There's actually nothing wrong with this game from a core standpoint. All of the gameplay modes are here and accounted for, but as far as that hook, the thing that would really set this game apart was really they were banking on graphics. And a few years ago, that was actually not a bad gamble. A few years ago, and if you guys remember, there was like a slew of mobile titles a long time ago where they were like, oh my God, I can't believe these graphics are possible on a mobile device. Those days are over. Those days are pretty much over. Mobile is very capable. You can put some really impressive graphics on mobile these days. So while that was a selling point years ago, it became less and less of a interesting bullet point on your game that your graphics were good on mobile. Like that used to be awesome. Like, oh my God, I can't believe my cell phone can display Unreal graphics. Now, nobody cares about that. So one of the biggest selling points of this game, well, two, right? The Aion IP, which isn't really that, it's really not, like I can't even though I played the PC MMO for years, when it first came out, back when it was a box copy game and you had to pay a subscription fee for that game, I used to play it back then. I can't name a single character. I can't even name a single character from Aion. So the IP isn't really that strong, and the graphics, that whole bullet point, that selling point, became less and less and less of a really interesting bullet point to sell your game on. The longer it went on, the stronger mobile devices got, the less that was very interesting. So what were you left with? Blank slate characters? That was it. So. I think that I still think it was a smart move to make a really high graphic fidelity hero collector back then. I just don't think Aion as an IP was the right one to go for. And I feel like NCSoft has made this mistake a couple of times. If you remember that game MXM, remember that game that was like the Heroes of the Storm, but for NCSoft properties? There weren't really, and as a person that played Guild Wars, as a person that played City of Heroes, Blade and Soul, Aion, I played all those games. There were no thralls, there were no Arthuses, right? You know what I mean? So I just don't think that using this IP was a smart idea. So that's that. That's kind of what I feel kind of just over time dwindled the player base, or maybe didn't attract the player base in the first place. But if we talk about the game itself, the graphics still hold up to this day, and actually the combat system is actually pretty good as well. So let's kind of talk about what the combat system has for this game. So number one, this is one of the very rare status debuff effect combat systems on the market, right? So in this game, if you knock someone down, your abilities do something different, or if something's being taunted, or if you're behind something, there's a lot of different status effects and debuffs that are applied in this game, more so than other hero collectors. We play plenty of hero collectors where you set up a poison, and then when you attack again, you do more damage. It's actually a little bit more heightened here. So, for example, if you knock down an enemy in this game, it's more than just your abilities do damage. You get a whole different ability, like an entire different skill is unlocked when an enemy is knocked down, or if they're poisoned, or if you're behind them, or if they're stunned, like an entire different ability set. And some skills can only be activated if that debuff is active, and there's still really no hero collectors on the market that do things like that. So that's one pretty interesting thing there. Lots of little control here when it comes to your little camera angles here. You can switch it around as well. From your viewpoint, you can go to automatically moves. I like that a little bit better. I like a nice little sway in the camera. Very, very nice. As you guys can see, they tried to make it very MMO-like with the big telegraphs and whatnot. You can stun mobs. I don't actually have any stuns on my bar here, but you can stun mobs. There's lots of different cool things that you can do here. So very, very nice as far as the combat system. This was not, and like I said, I don't want this to sound like I think the game was bad. Even when I first reviewed it, day one, go back and watch the video. Don't do that, it's old. I was like, the game looks good. I don't know what the unique draw is, but it has everything that you're looking for. So maybe if you were a diehard Aion fan that didn't care that this was an MMO, that this wasn't an MMO, maybe this game would appeal to you. But I just feel like that. I feel that like that section of characters was very small. If we go back over here to the home screen, there's a few different things that you can do here. You have like these passive resource generations, like these gold mines and these mines here. I like things like that. I feel like a lot of games make the mistake and try to say, well, we need to have a gold grind stage, or we need to have a mining stage. We need to have people grinding that every single day. No, just make them passive, make them idle. There's no reason why a player needs to log in every day and have to do a bunch of chores before they can actually play the gameplay modes that they want to play. So shout out to them on that one. You can also upgrade your barracks here, which allows you to do even more of your tried and true dispatch missions, as you guys can see there. Oh, did I press the wrong button? There we go. Get back over here. If you go over here, guild, pretty straightforward. You have a shop. Your command post right over here allows you to basically, we'll go ahead and go to upgrade here. And this allows you to make all of your other buildings even stronger. If you think of like old school, they're not old school, they're pretty current, like city builders, you always have a command post that's basically tied to all the other buildings. And that's basically what that's all about. You can advance all of your characters here from enhancing, evolving, and awakening right over here. But you can also do that from the hero screen as well. Hero portal is the summon, which we're going to be doing here in a second. And then of course, you have arena, and then of course, daily dungeons. So if you go over here to your daily dungeons, pretty normal when it comes to this. You have all of like your dungeons that are open on very specific times a day. You have equipment dungeons, and then you have, I don't know what that social dungeon is. It's kind of interesting. I think that's a co-op dungeon. I think that was coming out right as I was quitting the game. So pretty, like I said, there's nothing here that's egregiously missing or wrong. You have PvP here as well. Lots of different rewards. The game was very giving. I say this all the time. You want to play a hero collector that's very giving, you play one that's struggling or old. And since this game, I think from like day one was always struggling, it was always a very giving game that always gave people a lot of different summons as well. Just going to do a full summon animation so you guys can kind of see what the summons were all about. Look at that little witch doctor. Little witch doctor guy. There you go. He's not bad. And like I said, I said this earlier in the video, there are some exceptions to the rule, but I think as a whole, a lot of the characters just kind of look blank. I like that character, but maybe it's because he's wearing a mask. Maybe that's why. Let's do some of these free summons here. We'll skip the animation this time. There goes that robot. This was a free pre-registration reward, so everyone got that robot for free. Let's see what else we got here. Phineas? Like a little dwarf dude. Oh, look at that little fairy there putting a little stank on it. Put a little stank on it. Nora. See, you guys know I love me some waifus. She looks good graphically, but I'm just like, she looks like an Unreal Engine asset. Reminds me of Overhit, unfortunately. What else do we have here? Lots of little, since I didn't play this game like all the way through when it was kind of going on, I wonder if they had it set up that every first step was free. I kind of like when games do that. I would love to see that more often, where anytime a new banner comes out, everyone gets a free roll on the banner to start off with. I would love to see more games kind of institute that in their games. Little Warhammer guy there. He looks pretty interesting. Like I can feel that guy. Like I said, it's hit or miss. Some of them are blank. Some of them actually do have a little bit of personality. I can see there. You got your typical gold summon there as well. And I think that'll about do it, ladies and gentlemen. So there you go. Rest in peace to Aion Legions of War. Let me get some F's down in the comments section below. Graphically, good game. Based on an IP that I don't think added anything to the experience. Only thing I can think of is that it detracted from the experience, unfortunately. It just didn't have the pull to bring in new players, and then people that love the MMO, I think they were really put off by it. So I think it was already an uphill battle for this game to kind of succeed and grab a wider audience, unfortunately. So that is the story of Aion Legions of War. Graphically fantastic, pretty standard hero collector, held back, believe it or not, by its IP. My name is FG3000. I do thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Later.